Tough one last night in Miami. We will get into the Tua situation. Mike McDaniel, the coach, spoke today. This morning, we have all the latest on the show. Our thoughts, of course, with Tua, his family, the team, as they navigate this, get him healthy, and then consider the future and what to do. We also have legend Dante Whitner on the show. We'll talk about the game, break it down, Buffalo's defense, of course, and he'll lead us into all this weekend's action. Lots of takes, always, from Mr. Whitner. We also have a nice chat. 2 Bears, 1 week. I love it. Tyrique Stevenson, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, joins us ahead of Chicago's huge bright light matchup in Houston. And I've got hunches for week 2. Thursday Night Football, pure joy, of course. Big matchup in the AFC East. Watching, excited. We've got a parlay. We're excited. We were down in South Beach. I got to sit with this Tua who is revitalized. I got to talk to his former teammate, Ryan Fitzpatrick, yesterday, a 17-year quarterback, about all of the excitement. What is it going to be like to walk into Hard Rock Stadium, to feel the energy, to know that this is a fiery Tua that even Fitzpatrick never saw in a single second. A new, settled, paid guy who feels like he belongs, leveling and passing last year. So much to prove last night. Could have been the biggest game of his life. Might have been the biggest, most impactful game of his life, honestly, if we're talking about it. 1-6 against the Bills, though. Let's go in there. Let's get it done. Change the narrative. That's all we were talking about. And then things get put into perspective in 1 second when this happens. Sustaining a concussion that we all saw over and over again on Twitter, of course, and during the game, during the second half. Everything stops. Nothing, no record, no 1-6, no, I don't like Tua, he's not the guy, we shouldn't have, none of that. None of that happens. All of that stops, and we just focus on what occurred, which was awful and brutal and traumatic to see and traumatic to take place. It sort of reminds you how dangerous this sport can be. And then we had Mike McDaniel, who I could not wait to hear from after the game.
I talked to him in the locker room. Obviously, I talked to him on the field, and then talked to him in the locker room before he was headed home. You know, he was in good spirits. I'm not worried about anything that's out of my hands in terms of, I'm just worried about the human being, and you know, he'll drive the ship when we get the appropriate information. But it's day by day health is what, you know, I've you know, really try to approach all the stuff that way, particularly with concussions.
You heard Mike McDaniel there. He spoke this morning as well. He talked about bringing in another quarterback. The football side of it clearly not important to him, and it's not really important to anyone right now. Our thoughts are with him this morning. I will say this, in talking to him and knowing a little bit about him and his people that are around him who've supported him through his childhood, his career at Alabama, through the NFL, he has a good support system. Guys like Manti Te'o have come on our show, talked about that in depth, how much family means to him. Tua does it all for family. I mean, this play happened because he's competitive. He let it get, you know, he took it to that level, wanting to gain more yards for his team. That's who he is. That's what he's made of. It was super scary. We're not doctors. We are not agents. We don't know how this works with medical status. I do take a little solace in the fact that I think he has a beautiful support system. I know he's got a couple of kids that he wants to be healthy for, that he knows that he has to prioritize his health for and his well-being for. I would just sort of encourage fans who sort of sometimes don't understand the human part of it that Mike McDaniel is talking about. Listen to Mike McDaniel after the game yesterday. Listen to him again. Really hold on to the words that he'll be saying throughout the course of the next couple of days and weeks going into this. Mike McDaniel is the perfect sort of God-sent person to be handling a human situation like this. But I do think that while you're tweeting and you're thinking about your playoff hopes and all of these things, like there's a very much human person that in a human situation that should, you know, before you hit send on your fantasy lineup without Tua, you should really think about that, is what I would encourage. And of course, all the thoughts to him. And we love you, Tua. We love you, Tua. I love you, Tua. And wishing you, obviously, a beautiful, full recovery, and then lots of strength to make your decisions about the future, whatever's best for you and your family. This game, it sucked the air out of it. It's like, do we even talk about the game? It sucked. It sucked to watch that happen. And then, there is the football side of it, where we'll find out what happens. I'm asking, I don't even know, who are the quarterbacks available? Let's see, who we got. Hamilton, if you want to hang out with me. I think, obviously, I saw the Tom Brady memes being mocked up right away, like we could use it down in South Beach. Brutal thing that happened from the football side, which, is the secondary thing, but they're going to have to add somebody. It sounds like they will.
Yeah, and Mike McDaniel did say this morning that they have confidence in Skylar Thompson, but they will be adding somebody who's pretty definitive about that. And Ryan Tannehill is somebody who's out there.
Okay. A return to Miami for Tannehill, wow.
Yeah, which would be interesting. Trevor Siemian, Desmond Ridder, guys that have started NFL games that have some experience. Another interesting name to me is C.J. Beathard, who was in that Shanahan system with Mike McDaniel in San Francisco. So there's a little connection there. So those seem to be the best options right now. You hope it doesn't get to a point, where we have to see those guys. Hopefully Tua is okay, as you said. But yeah, the priority here, obviously, like you said, is his health and taking care of himself first, and the football will come later.
We'll see who they add. I like that Beathard. It's all, when this happens, injury happens, anything happens where there's a hole, you right away just look at the connections. Who knows who can call who the quickest to get something done and get somebody in there. And I'm sure, the entire league is buzzing about this, of course, from the human perspective, what it means. I saw Deion Dawkins. I thought it was so beautiful. Maybe we should pull it. It was so beautiful. He was in the locker room. Like, this is someone who hates his rivals, Deion Dawkins hates everybody. He's so, and he said everybody in this locker room is thinking about Tua, sending him love and prayers. It was all, he talked about just slide. Everyone was saying, please, just the way that in a certain point and the wildness of it being Damar Hamlin, the human perspective of all of it. But really, truly, like Mike McDaniel is the one to hold on to his every word here. And that's how all, I think, coaches and football minds should be in matters like this. Appreciate the update on who those potential free agents might be. If we're missing any guys, let us know. Thanks, Hamilton. We'll talk in just a little bit. Dominant performance for Deion Dawkins and these Bills last night. Defense flying around, fantastic, especially when you consider they were playing without two of their centerpieces in Teron Johnson and Bernard as well. And they lost all of those vets this offseason in that red wedding that I keep talking about. Ed Oliver, I never say his name, dominated the line of scrimmage. Johnson's replacement, 27-year-old Jamarcus Ingram, playing in just his 7th career game in the NFL. He came up with 2 picks, including a pick 6. Let's listen to Josh Allen on what the Bills' defense pulled off last night.
Unbelievable job. And lose TB in the first quarter. Balin comes in. He's the green dot. Makes some plays. J. Mark comes in, makes some plays. You look at the stat sheet. I don't know what our numbers were, but I know we were really low in time of possession, and we were probably really low in total yards, but still managed to put up 31 points, and that means your defense is doing something right. So they had our back tonight, and we're going to need them going forward. And I'm just very proud of how guys stepped up into their roles, and they played together.
I love hearing that. You can kind of watch when he's talking how cool, how great, like what better feeling must there be as a quarterback that if your defense can like win games? Like it's the same Caleb Williams thing, like the confidence you must have going into a bout against the Texans on Sunday Night Football after maybe not your best performance, knowing you have a defense. You can sort of see, not the relief, it just makes everything better. It makes everything a little less all on you, and that's always been the story for me and Josh Allen. I don't want it all on you. They didn't even need a big Josh Allen-y moment because everyone else was so freaking good. And it's not to say that Josh didn't play well, but he only needed to put up 141 total yards, 30 offensive plays for this team to produce 31 points. It's pretty nice. It's pretty freaking good. And of course, it's because of how the defense set them up. It's also because of James Cook, who put up 95 total yards, 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns! Unbelievable. We say running backs gone, not important, whatever, devalued. Give me a break. He only had 12 touches. So efficient, so amazing. The question a lot of people had coming into this year was whether or not Josh Allen could carry the team with all the tumult and all the turnover. Losing Stephon Diggs, losing other pieces. This was a statement game for this roster, okay? A dominant win in ownership of the Dolphins. You saw it quarter 1 and 2. But dominant statement game for this coaching staff and Brandon Beane. We are a complete team, and we're coming. We're going to take a short break here. We have Dante Whitner on the program. Can't wait to get his thoughts, of course, on Tua and the rest of what's going on around the NFL. From week 1 to week 2, we're in it. We have some DFS lineup stuff coming up. And Tyrique is on the show, guys. Tyrique Stevenson, a standout for Chicago. No problem. Can we see that? Or do you want to just do it here? Want to just do it here? Okay, so this is the Week 2 slate, everybody. Thanks for watching on YouTube, little YouTube exclusive action. So the early windows that's as good as it gets. Bucks, Lions, insane. Saints, Cowboys, super intriguing. Let's see how good these Saints are. Colts, Packers, unbelievable. Could we see Jordan Love this week? What? Are they going to go 0-2? That would be wild. The one I want to focus on, just because it's chock full of storylines, is Niners-Vikings, with San Francisco as a 5.5-point favorite on the road. So here's the deal. We have Christian McCaffrey insisting he could play this weekend. We'll see if that is a thing. I wouldn't play him. Wrap him up. You have Mason. Why would you even try to do that? It's like another protege weird matchup where you have a Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell situation, a little revenge as the Vikings upset the Niners last year. Then you got Sam Darnold coming off a hot start facing his former team. Listen to what Niners corner Diamador Lenore said about who wins the matchup between him and his old teammate, Darnold.
I think I win that for sure. I believe I win because, me and Sam, we didn't have this connection. He likes to throw the ball to me. So this week, coming, you know it. But I know he's a talented player, and he's going to come ready to work. And I know how he prepared. He gave us great looks, when he played here with us, just taking over the scout team. He was throwing dimes. So I know it's going to have to be tight, sticky covers.
Nothing wrong with a healthy jab once or twice. Diamador Lenore quickly rising up my rankings of favorite players. Love to hear him speak. Never turn it off. Never scroll past it. Amazing. There's a lot of respect between him and Darnold. You can tell there as well between the jokes. And I was thinking about the opportunity that this game is for Sam Darnold, someone I've always championed from when he was a Jet. Okay, playing well against the Giants is one thing, but if he puts up points against this Niners defense, who's part of this team, is his former coach, who, by the way, just dismantled Aaron Rodgers and those Jets. If he walks out of U.S. Bank Stadium, ruckus, craziness, whatever, with a win, I think we're finally going to start looking at him differently. I do. And the way we look at this Vikings team, by the way, in the NFC hierarchy, nobody really talking about them. If he plays well and they lose a close one, I think it says a lot. And it's going to be a tough task either way, but I like that Sam gets this chance early in the season to show what he can do against the best in the league. All right, let's do it with Whitner. Let's get you some K-makers, shall we? This is who I think's going to score. I'm so buff, it's so crazy. This is who I think will score some touchdowns. These dudes are scoring. How about Mike Evans? Plus money on last year's receiving touchdown leader, coming off a 2-touchdown game against a young Lions secondary. Gimme Mike Edwards. Up next, pow, 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 pow. Gus the Bus, Gus Edwards. Panthers defense. They're without Derek Brown now. Sky is falling. Not great. J.K. Dobbins scored the Chargers' rushing touchdown last week from distance, but Gus, the short yardage, goal line back, so he will, mark my words, he will punch one in this week, and I will be retweeting it with champagne emojis. And I always like to give a long shot. Always like to give I don't know what you call that in boxing. What's a long shot? I don't even know. What punch that would be? A long shot's a kind of punch? What? I don't know. I don't know. A haymaker? No, I don't know. Mark Andrews will be the guy that I think, he's got longer odds, okay? He struggled in week 1. We know it's the likely show, but he and Lamar, there's so much chemistry there, especially in the red zone. And this, I don't know, this is a nice matchup for him as well. So a little too juicy to pass up. Mark Andrews, Gus Edwards, Mike Evans. That's what I think. Mark Andrews, by the way, up against Vegas. Gotta love that. Okay, my next guest, let's get to it. One of the hardest hitters from his era with the Bills, the Niners, the Browns, and Washington. 3-time Pro Bowler, analyst for NBC Sports in the Bay Area. Always full of opinions. always bringing it. And I feel like whenever we get together, something goes viral. Something goes off into the world that people either really like or really don't like, Dante.
Yeah, it does, but this is an opinionated-based business. And I try to give my opinion as much as possible. And did you see those LA Chargers? You see those LA Chargers week 1?
I did.
Yeah, with the win.
Are you maintaining your claim that they might make it to the AFC champion? That they will make it to the AFC championship? Look at those odds, plus 2,600 on FanDuel Sportsbook.
Absolutely, absolutely. What Coach Harbaugh is building over there is going to be phenomenal. And it only just started last week. Did you see J.K. Dobbins from the Ohio State University? Coach Harbaugh knows who to give the ball to. And then Justin Herbert is just getting started. Khalil Mack, 2 sacks in that game. Everything that I said is coming to fruition. They will end up in the AFC Championship game.
We love seeing it, guys. Go put your bets in. Clearly what Whitner says happens. And I just thought, putting it all on the coach. I mean, it's clearly not all on him, but the difference that he can make is sort of outrageous. What do you make of let's see, they go Panthers-Steelers before taking on the Chiefs in Week 4. So how confident are you we'll have 2 undefeated teams in Week 4 in an AFC Championship preview?
Very confident. Carolina, they're in the basement. They won't be getting out anytime soon. Wow. I don't know about Bryce Young as the franchise quarterback over there. It's just too many struggles. He seems too small, and he doesn't really have a grasp of that offense. So I do believe that Week 4, we will see 2 3-0 teams, and that's when they'll have opportunity to go head-to-head. It'll be Andy Reid versus Coach Harbaugh, Justin Herbert versus, the top quarterback in the league, and Patrick Mahomes. So that week, they will put the NFL on notice.
When I thought of you when I saw Jim Harbaugh, and you told me he loves his quarterback, right? You told me all of these. These are all the Whitner-isms. When I saw this, I knew I was thinking about you. What were you thinking?
Well, I've seen that before. I've seen it with Alex Smith. I've seen it with Colin Kaepernick. I've seen it with J.J. McCarthy. Now I see it with Justin Herbert. And you know what all of those guys have in common? They have Harbaugh as their head coach, and he's taking them on to do great things in championship games. So Herbert is the next in line for that.
I'm looking at the schedule because we got that bye in Week 5 then after. Are they beating KC in that game?
I think they will beat KC in that game. Where are they playing?
They're playing at SoFi.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're going to beat KC Week 4. After 4 weeks, the LA Chargers will be 4-0.
They'll be 4-0. Okay, then they have a bye in Week 5. I don't hate that bye, which was a little bit later. That's okay. So when are they losing? We don't have a graphic with the schedule, but do they lose at Denver?
No, Denver's in the basement as well.
So this is an undefeated team.
Nick, there's not the guy over there. I don't know, man. Maybe they can run off 6, 7, 8 in a row. I don't have their schedule
I do.
in front of me as well. But
Cardinals Monday Night Football, Week 7.
I have the Chargers winning that game as well.
New Orleans Week 8 at SoFi.
With the way that Derek Carr is playing and that defense played last week, well, they played the Carolina Panthers, so you can't really judge them based on that game. That's like a JV team running around out there. But, yeah, I think that, they'll beat the Denver Broncos. They'll have an opportunity to win a bunch of games early this season. I wish I had their schedule sitting in front of me so we could just run off WL.
Were they the most impressive team to you last week, Dante?
No, I think the 49ers were the most impressive team to me last week. Everybody thought that Christian McCaffrey not playing would, damper the 49ers' offensive running game and philosophy, and they showed that how quickly we forget that Christian McCaffrey just arrived, 3 years ago in the 49ers organization, and Kyle Shanahan in that offense always found a way to run the football, whether it was Matt Breida, whether it was Raheem Mostert, whether it was Jeff Wilson Jr. Those are all games that weren't household names, but they were continuously having success on the ground. So how quickly we forget, and they have another 1-2 package now. They have Christian McCaffrey. They can go with the home run hitter and pound your defense with Jordan Mason, who had a phenomenal game Week 1.
If you're them, you can't be playing Christian this week.
You could, depending on how he feels. I know that the world thinks that, he has tendonitis and his Achilles and he has a calf injury. Yeah, but it's a day-to-day thing. It's about how he feels. And if I was the 49ers head coach, I wouldn't play him to maybe Week 4. I would let him sit this week. I would let him sit next week versus the New England Patriots. And then possibly I would let him return Week 4.
Now, Shanahan loves to beat up on his coaches from his coaching tree. He's great at it. He's the master when it comes to these chess matches against former people who worked with him that he gets to see day in, day out. How big of a revenge game do you see this for him after losing to Kevin O'Connell last season? What does that do to a Kyle?
I think this is a huge revenge game. Last year was very disappointing and embarrassing. Week 7, Brock Purdy and the 49ers didn't really have their best output, but I felt like Brock did a really good job of managing the game and the blitz that Brian Flores likes to employ on the field. And he got the ball to the right people. They just couldn't punch the ball in the end zone. Christian McCaffrey fumbled. You had 2 late Brock Purdy interceptions. But the downfall of that game was on Steve Wilkes, is when he wrote his destiny and caught a 0 blitz with 10 seconds left going into halftime. And that was the downfall for the 49ers. It was the defense. They were too static. They showed Kirk Cousins and that Vikings offense everything they wanted to see, and they were able to take advantage of matchups. So I think that this is a game where Kyle Shanahan is going to take it personal because, like last week, he beat up on Robert Saleh. He always beats up on his former coaches, whether it's Sean McVay in Los Angeles, whether it's Robert Saleh. So to lose to the Minnesota Vikings last year and McConnell, I think it lit a fire under Kyle Shanahan. You might see a blowout this week.
Wow. Tell me more about that. What do you think happens in this game?
Well, I think that it's possibly can be a blowout. I know that everybody is high on Sam Darnold right now for throwing for 200 yards last week and 2 touchdowns, right?
You could just call me out, Whitner. It's me.
Against the New York Giants, who's probably the worst defense and the youngest defense in the NFL. They have such a simple game plan that they weren't going to allow Sam Darnold to mess it up. They had a lot of half-field reads. Yeah, he threw 2 good balls. He threw a seam ball in cover 2 where the linebacker wasn't reading his eyes and possibly could have made a play on it. He threw a deep 7 ball to the sideline to Justin Jefferson. But these were static defenses that are young that can't get any pressure on the quarterback. All of those were with a clean pocket. Now with Nick Bosa and Leonard Floyd and Hargrave and these guys coming after you continuously, can you make those throws from a muddy pocket? He has to show me this before I'm a believer.
I mean, the touchdown I thought to Justin was a dime. Banks was Banks was right there in coverage.
No, Banks is young and he had a terrible game. Let me tell you what that was. They motioned the back to the right. It's 4 wide receivers to that side.
Okay.
That's a staple in the NFL. That means a backside slant is coming. Every team runs it. When you have a young defensive back like Banks, and he's still playing outside leverage when everybody else knows that the slant is coming, that's a gimme. That's an easy throw. This week versus the 49ers, they have a bunch of veterans, and they have a extensive cornerback group who's the best that Kyle Shanahan has had in his tenure, and he won't have those easy throws this week. I'm expecting Sam Darnold to probably throw for less than 150 yards this week.
Less than 150 yards this week, says Dante Whitner. I'm not going to question
2-3 interceptions. 2-3 interceptions as well. He was
it.
Cinderella last week. He'll turn to a pumpkin this week.
Oh, my gosh. That Giants defense, you do not have much faith in that young squad. Let's get into the Bengals-Chiefs. 0. The war of words between Bengals and Chiefs already beginning going into their matchup. Yesterday, the cornerback, Cam Taylor-Britt, for the Bengals, had this to say about the sensation rookie out of Kansas City, Xavier Worthy. Let's take a listen.
Straight. Run jet sweeps and just run straight. We can't do too much else, so that's about it. Feel like you put your hands on him. He's only 100-something pounds, so if you put hands on him, you'll stop the speed. So basically, get hands on him.
Is this smart?
No, not at all. And you have to know that Patrick Mahomes is going to take that personal, and they're going to make sure that they make him eat those words. There's a reason why they tell you not to put out bulletin board material, especially if you're playing the reigning Super Bowl champions, the 2-time reigning Super Bowl champions. And, he can speak as if it's easy to jam a small receiver, quick receiver at the line of scrimmage, but it's not. And if you miss, you're toast. So the best thing to do is to keep your mouth closed, to work hard, and then maybe after the game, if you shut Xavier Worthy down, you speak, but never before the game. I think that he needs to be on high alert and not be embarrassed when he played against the Chiefs.
Remind me, did you talk? Did you give bulletin board material?
Man, no, not before the game.
Never?
I never did it before the games. But on the field, I said some ungodly things to some people. There's some people that don't like me to this day, even though we're retired, because of things that I said out there. It's just my competitive advantage.
Who doesn't like you now because of something you said on the field? Tell me.
Bunch of guys, man. There's a bunch of guys. I don't want to say any names. Yeah, I don't want to call.
What were you saying out there?
Anything, everything. Some ungodly things out there, Kay.
Roman Harper?
Yeah, he doesn't like me because I knocked his teammate out. And I didn't do it on purpose, right? I didn't do it on purpose, but, that's the nature of the beast. And when you're playing for championships, the New Orleans Saints, they were loaded. We were loaded in San Francisco. That game was going to come down to, if they go out there and score on this first drive, they'll probably blow us out. And that's what Vic Fangio told us the night before the game. So I had to knock his teammate out, get the fumble, and we had to go get the ball and go down and score. So now every time he gets a chance to talk bad about me, he does. So I don't care.
What if we need to fix it, I feel like? What if you saw Roman Harper at Ralph's getting some orange juice? What would happen? You would just ignore each other?
Probably say hello.
Okay.
But nothing more. Like, we're not going to have like a full-blown conversation.
I don't know.
My life isn't really affected.
Yeah.
Hopefully his isn't.
The biggest matchup I'm paying attention to in this one is Chase and Higgins, right? Or the biggest, like the storyline here. Because if he's healthy against this Chiefs secondary that doesn't have L'Jarius Sneed, I think they can get a win and do some damage against Kansas City. Is it that simple, or what are you looking at? The Chiefs without Sneed, I feel like will be felt at some point, and I'm thinking it's week 2.
No, the Kansas City Chiefs do an awesome job of revamping, revitalizing, retooling, coaching up the players that they bring in through free agency and the draft, developing players at a high level. They have an excellent scheme. Spagnuolo is going to get after you.
Man.
He doesn't allow you to just pick a guy and just attack him. He's going to bring pressure. He's going to play zone. He's going to do a bunch of things at the line of scrimmage to confuse the offensive line. That's the problem with the Cincinnati Bengals. You have to protect Joe Burrow. And then once you protect Joe Burrow, you have to have concepts where your receivers get open and make plays after the catch. So I don't believe that Cincinnati Bengals can do that, and I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs in this game.
You're taking it's 5.5. You're taking the Kansas City Chiefs in this one. Will it be much of a game, do you think? These are the ones that I think. Really?
The Bengals are doing a lot of talking right now.
Okay.
And everybody that understands the game of football, the team that does the most talking, they're the least confident. That's why you talk, because your actions on the field aren't really showing up. So when you hear Jamar Chase talk about, they know we the best. No, we don't. Nobody knows that. That's what you think about yourself, but you have to go out and prove it each and every week. It's been, 3 years since the Cincinnati Bengals made it to the Super Bowl? They didn't even make the playoffs last year, right? So I think that they have to go out and prove it and show it, and there's a lot of pressure on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and the Cincinnati Bengals in Kansas City. We already know what they bring to the table, so they're on their way to going 0-2 in this early season.
You famously said, I believe, right? Let's let our shoulder pads do the talking, right? Like that's you. Yeah.
You gotta let your shoulder pads do the talking.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear what you have to say in the media. And then when you're 0-2, what are you going to say after that?
Well, how serious is this? So Rob Gronkowski, 4-time Super Bowl champ, he came on and he's out. He's out on the Bengals. Then yesterday, 16, 17-year quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick joins me and says he's not out on the Bengals. Where are you?
Well, anytime you have a quarterback that's giving their opinion on another quarterback that's perceived as one of the top quarterbacks in the league, they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. So Ryan Fitzpatrick is an ex-teammate of mine, and I understand what he's doing there. But when he looks at that team in totality and that offense in totality, they're not getting it done. They only have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They don't have any other playmakers. Their running back is in Houston, and he looks damn good to me. So he should still be in Cincinnati, but when you pay the quarterback, you can't pay everybody. And Joe Burrow has to take on that extra added ability, or liability to go out there and make players that aren't top offensive threats in the league. You have to come through, and they have to win. So we'll see where they go from here, but I've been out on the Cincinnati Bengals.
What do you want to bet that they win this game?
We can bet whatever you want.
I think the Bengals absolutely win this game. I think they needed the Week 1 loss. I think they're having a come to whatever moment, and they are the challenger. I think they have a lot of confidence in this matchup that other teams don't have. They have their number. I wish it was later in the season for sure, but I think that they win this game.
Who's going to block Jones?
I wish you could hear, because I literally have a huge wall here. I'm in a studio, but I can hear the control room cracking up at everything you're saying, because you're just so no, yes, no, yeah.
Yeah, but who's going to block him? Nobody.
Yeah.
There's no way that you could take the Cincinnati Bengals over the Kansas City Chiefs. There's no way. That's just
There's
wishful
supposed to be a better line. What are you talking about? Like they did it with a lesser impressive line before, blocking Chris Jones. Like, come on. I think
they also had a running game.
Yeah.
They also had a running game.
You think Mixon being gone was not it? You don't believe in the Zach Moss tandem with Brown? That's fair.
Absolutely not. Joe Mixon was the second best playmaker on offense.
I'm more worried about Pacheco, because last week I have no faith in this run defense being able to stop anything.
Yeah, Pacheco, he'll probably have over 100 yards. They'll get Xavier Worthy the ball. You'll see Patrick Mahomes run around and make them look silly. That chemistry with Kelsey will show up. I'm expecting Kelsey to get into the end zone maybe twice this week. And then on the out, Rice looked phenomenal week 1 as well. So, and then guess what? The Kansas City Chiefs have an extra 2.5 days to prepare, because they played on Thursday Night Football week 1, correct?
Yeah.
And they had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off to prepare and rest up. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs by 17.
By 17. I would say their O-line is better than it was the 3 times that Joe beat him, 3-1 against this squad. So I'm going to take the Bengals by 7.
Yeah, but when you play a Steve Spagnuolo defense, I don't really care if you're the 49ers. He's going to put that much pressure on you in the run game, and to protect your quarterback, it's not going to be a pretty game. I'm just telling you, they're out for blood. And all the talking before the game is just going to add to it.
Okay, we're going to take a TV break, but I got to get your thoughts on Tua, so please don't go anywhere. We're going to be on YouTube. We're going to get this out because I need to get Dante Whitner's thoughts. We thought we could start with that. We'll be right back. Okay, Whitner, this game last night, obviously, a lot of people were predicting a down year for your Bills. They come out and they swing, but they get themselves a dominant win. Really beautiful defensive win. We can talk about that, but when you saw the injury to Tua and everything that's coming after, what were you thinking?
Scary. That's a grade 3 concussion. I've had grade 3 concussions where I've lost consciousness, and there's different levels to them. There's one when you feel a little hazy and it's almost like the black and white checkers on a TV. And then there's a grade 2 where you can lose some memory and you might have sensitivity to light and all those different things and sounds. And then there's a grade 3 where you lose consciousness for momentarily. And I've had those, and I've lost for 2 weeks after that concussion. I lost vision in my peripheral for 2 weeks. So I could see over here and I would look to my left and it would be pitch black. So the brain is really nothing to play with. You hate to see this happen to players. And yes, I've dished out concussions in my career, but I wasn't intentional with it. I just wanted to hit you as hard as possible. I didn't want to give you a concussion. And the long-term effects of these concussions can be dire. So hopefully they hold him out for a few weeks. I know that they want to get him back out there as soon as possible so that they can get some wins, but it's about his long-term health. And this is the 3rd concussion we've seen in the last 2 years. And all 3 of them have been, I believe, grade 3 concussion. So his long-term health is the primary focus here, and he probably should be sitting for the first half of the season going forward.
Knowing what you know and you've gone through it, is there a real conversation on the table about him and finishing his NFL career?
Absolutely. And this is why you can't put him back out there in 2-3 weeks, because another concussion, now the doctors are coming to you and saying, hey, you don't really want to be a vegetable when you're 50, 60 years old, right? And being on the other side of it, being a retired player, I see so many players that are having issues with their brain and memory and being able to control anger and depression. And a lot of that comes from the diagnosed concussions, but also the undiagnosed concussions. Think about how many guys feel a little dizzy every time they make contact in practice, right? So when I went through the brain evaluation and it came back, they said that you could have possibly had between 600 and 800 grade 1 through grade 3 concussions. Do you know how scary that is to hear? They're very scary. So it's not just me individually as a football player, it's a lot of the players. So you have to protect yourself, but even more importantly, the organization and the coaches and the medical staff have to protect him, even protect him from himself.
An honest opinion, I really appreciate it. Dante Whitner, always a joy to have you. Thank you for the analysis, and go Bengals.
No. Go Niners.
Sure. Go Niners again. Go Sam Darnold and go Bengals. You and I are going to I'm going to send you some cupcakes if you get yours right, and you have to send me some cookies if I get mine, all right?
Absolutely.
It's a deal. Thank you, Whitner. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Back on Up and Adams, that little chat with Dante Whitner. You can always check out our YouTube exclusives on the YouTube page for Up and Adams Show. We'll get those out on social. Some brilliant thoughts, honest thoughts from Dante Whitner on Tua, on the like. We got lots to get to here. We have Tyrique Stevenson, a corner for the Bears, on the program. Defensive show to wrap up the week. But you want to score some offense with fantasy. So here's your DF. Yes, DF. Yes, give him to me. Put him in my lineup at quarterback. Give me Brock Purdy. Value. Total value. No, everyone's talking about everything the Niners but Brock Purdy. He is 13th most expensive. You mean 13th best value. Super run-heavy offense week one. Whatever. That was very game-specific against the Niners. They wanted to keep Aaron's ass on the bench. So this week against the Vikings, I think Brock has a great day. At running back, Brian Robinson, 89 yards, a score on 15 touches last week. Best value on the board up against the Giants, who you just heard Dante Whitner say is the worst defense in the league. And at receiver, you like to switch things up, but Cooper Kupp crushed it for me here this week, and he's a steal again at 7,700. 8th at wide receiver. We're just going back to the well here. Why not? It keeps giving, and he had 21 targets last week. After Puka went out, Puka is gone. It's going to be volume from Stafford to him all day long. Okay, the Bears. Huge matchup against the Texans, week 2. Sunday night football, bright light. Caleb Williams, second week, didn't love his week 1 performance, even though they got the win. We had TJ Edwards on the show. Now we have the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, Tyrique Stevenson, talking about the game in week 1, talking about the Titans and CJ Stroud. Does he hate Will Levis? He'll tell you.
Tyrique, what did Will Levis ever do to you?
Wears Titan jersey.
Yeah, that's all it took?
That's all it took.
I thought maybe you had some vendetta or something, because you absolutely crushed it. You led all rookies in receptions, pass breakups, forced fumbles last year, and you come out the gate and you are named NFC Defensive Player of the Week. What did that feel like?
Oh, great. Just to piggyback off of what I built towards the end of last year, and just, putting my name on notice for real, just letting people know, you got to run all-star corner, and then, it's another one on the other side in the making.
Yeah, I mean, you won that award now 2 of the last 3 weeks of the NFL season. That's you won it in week 17 against the Falcons when you had 2 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be a regular thing for you?
I definitely try to make it. Definitely. The guys, I feel like I should give more praise to the guys in the building, because I wouldn't actually be in the position I am without the guys on this team pushing me daily to go out there and just show the world the things I be doing in practice, literally.
Well, give them some love. Who do you want to call out?
Call out the whole D-line. Shout out to y'all boys. And then, I call out Jalen Johnson, for showing me how to stay calm, showing me what it really takes to be a corner in this league.
What kind of leader is he?
He definitely a cool, calm, collect leader. He ain't with the hoorah. He ain't with the yelling. He ain't with all this. Like, if he sees something in the film room or on the field or even in walkthroughs, he's, hey, let me check it out, Rick. Let me talk to you. Let me tell you how I see it, and let me talk to you how a peer would talk to you instead of a coach, so I can get a better understanding for what he's trying to say.
What were they saying to you after your first touchdown of your career?
Honestly, I blacked out. I don't remember the whole moment. The whole time he's celebrating on the sideline was just like adrenaline rush. I can't remember what everybody's saying on top of, my helmet getting slapped by everybody. So,
what's your phone look like after the game?
It's still buzzing right now as we talk.
Yes,
Like
it's crazy.
it's buzzing. I had to turn the notifications off and missed a couple calls from my mom, and I had to hear about those.
I'm sure. But hopefully, have you called her back?
Yes, definitely. First thing I did was call mom back.
Caleb said that he called it on the sidelines right before the play. He said there will be an interception. Do you believe him?
I believe him because I actually called the interception this preseason myself. When Terrell Smith called his interception, I was on the sideline and I was like, Smitty, you got work. We know it's coming over here. And 3 seconds later, Smitty is running down the sideline with the ball. So I might not have heard it. The people around him might have heard it, but I definitely agree with him.
Are you a guy who visualizes things and manifests things?
Yes, I always visualize it because I feel like if you visualize it, you can take the anxiety and the pressure out the moment. And when the moment actually happens, it's a for sure thing because you already done visited it, you already done felt it, you already kind of put yourself and your body in this state where you feel like you did it before. So when it happens, and on to the next play.
You said you blacked out, then you're celebrating after. I hope you remember that. Like after the game locker room, hopefully?
After the game, it was more of, I remember that. Okay. It was more of a celebrating with the team and, just telling the guys that I appreciate them and just, letting it be known that, we're excited for this win, but, it's back to work.
Did you happen to play some Panic at the Disco in the locker room?
Oh no, that's on the way home. That's on the way home.
That's true?
That's on the way home.
What is your connection with Panic at the Disco? I saw that it's on like a Bears Instagram post about you singing I Write Sins, Not Tragedies.
What a beautiful wedding. What a beautiful wedding. I heard it like a few years ago. I think while I was at Georgia, I heard it and I just fell in love with the song. I love the music video. I love everything about that song.
I don't even know is it really popular? How did that even come
No, it really is popular. It's a popular song.
Oh, this one.
Yes.
You listened to this on the way home?
Yes. After a win, just on some random days, I just hit it. I feel like it just put me in my zone.
That is hilarious, and I love that. You said you were talking about it being a team win. Everybody was celebrating together. I like this idea of a kickstand that you brought up. You said that it was that's what the defense is, this sort of thing for Caleb and the offense. Mm-hmm. What did you make of his debut?
He did solid. He didn't turn the ball over. Don't feel like he did anything to put us in jeopardy or lose the game. I know people expected Caleb Williams to come out and throw 10 for 10, 1,000 yards the first game, but we just watched him go out there and handle business. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't put the defense in a terrible spot to go out there and play with our backs against the wall. He did what he had to do. We know what type of offense this is, and we know what they do to us in practice. So we just waiting for them to put that together and just showcase the world. So just, me coming with the kickstand is just the fact that we know him coming in as a rookie and him having all this pressure, him having to live up to the expectations of himself and others. We just know for a fact that we're going to have to be there a lot more than, he might have to be there for us this season. You're the kickstand.
You're not going to let your quarterback fall off the bike, it sounds like.
Yes, ma'am. Never.
I'm inferring, I don't want to put words in your mouth, basically saying, no, he did fine, but there's way more to his game. Can you explain?
Yes, there's a whole lot more to his game. Far as him getting comfortable and reading the field, and he also a dual threat quarterback. Him getting out of the pocket, showing off his legs. I feel like it's a lot more on the table that he hasn't shown. But I feel like what we went out game one and what he did, and how he handled the adversity and how he kept the offense moving forward as he should, he did a good job on my end.
Jalen Johnson, we were just talking about him, is a cool leader. He's not into hoopla, all that. But Sunday is hoopla. Sunday is bright lights. You know it. Like, you know what this game means. I want to know what it means for you two as a cornerback duo trying to put the league on notice.
Honestly, we ain't even worried about the league. I feel like it's a competition between us. I caught a pick. Last year, we both had 4 picks. He had a pick 6. This year, we both got a pick. I started off with the pick 6. So it's just a battle between us. We know he's an all-pro corner, and we know that I'm an all-pro corner in the making. So just seeing him every day come to work, just making us realize that we the best in the nation and that we're going to compete between each other for the most interception, the most PBUs. And between us competing between each other, just going to put us at the top.
Now, you gave love to the defensive front. I thought that you and Jalen were, I don't know how competitive you were, but TJ Edwards told me yesterday that everyone's selfless. Everyone knows it's one job, but it really gets competitive. Who's more competitive, you and Jalen, or you and Jalen versus the guys up front?
I would say I'm always gonna give it to me and Jalen. I definitely think me and Jalen. But I would say I would give it to the guys up front because they know for a fact that this defense do not, function without them. The front seven or the front six, and they know that they got to stop the run. So they're competing every day who can stop the run, who get the most sacks, who get the most QB hits. That's something that we preach every day and that the D-line come out here and do. And the linebackers know for a fact that they got to step up and stop the run, and they know the back four got it.
Number one rushing attack, you know where it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Down in Texas. I can't wait. I saw Jalen said on Instagram that I ain't letting shit fly. You boys got a travel ban. So
you got a travel ban. You got to check in with us before you board any flights. Everything is, if we say everything is canceled, it could be clear skies. It's canceled today.
What if you have clear? What if you have TSA pre-check? Can you fly?
There ain't no TSA pre-check. Everything run through us.
But you got a private jet. No flying?
It gets shot down.
We have to come up with a nickname for you and Jalen.
Yeah. Now we actually think that. We just came up with a handshake. We don't even do handshakes. We just did you get a pick this week? Nah. Then all right. It's just more like who can get the most PBUs in the game, who can get the most picks, who can make the most tackles. Last year I had the most tackles to him. We had the same interception, PBUs. So we just trying to figure out what stat we can get better at.
I mean, CJ Stroud's going to see this.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Far as from what I see, a great dude, great quarterback. His team believe in him, and he puts his team on his back when he needs to. But you got to play the Chicago Bears, and we are who we are, and we know what we stand on, and we know our standards. So.
You got a great run game, great quarterback, like you're talking about. They have great wide receivers too. But your secondary practice against top wide receivers all offseason, right? All preseason. How has going up against that Sherper Keenan, New Rome, who's a hard worker, I know he's a little banged up, DJ Moore, amazing, underrated wide receiver, in my opinion. How have they helped you going into this year, prepping for stuff like Stephon and Nico and Tank?
They just made me realize that I could cover pretty much anybody in the league. Just going against DJ and his game just shows you that, you got to be a little bit more, you can be aggressive here and there. Going against Keenan, you gotta watch the double moves. You gotta watch the head fakes. You gotta watch the extra stuff that Keenan gonna throw in. And then going against Rome, like you say, he's a hard worker. If you sit on him, he's running by you. If you play top, he's sitting down. So Rome gives you all type of problems. But going against those dudes just showed me I'm him. And it's time for me to put the league on notice. Just going against those dudes just helped me get 1% better every day, and I appreciate them for that.
When you got the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, what was the text to your competition, Jalen?
I really couldn't say nothing because he ended up getting a pick himself. He ended up getting an interception himself. So only thing that I got right now is the pick six. So it wasn't really no showboat, and there was really nothing. It was more like, you know what, we'll see what we on next week.
I love that. I'm sad you don't face the Packers till later. It's week 11, right? But you do have some bragging rights already. I know you're not showy. I know whatever, but you're competitive. You and Braxton Jones crushed AJ Dillon and Carrington Valentine in celebrity cornhole this summer. Should we just start the trash talking now for week 11?
There's always trash talk. Everybody know what it is with the Bears and the Packers, honestly. So definitely excited for that upcoming game, and definitely excited to go against the receivers. The receivers know me, and I know the receivers. So definitely excited to see them boys again.
I can't wait. I got to ask you, because I'm just getting to know you. What's really important to you? What's driving you when I'm watching you on Sunday? What's driving you?
I would say myself, honestly. Every day I wake up, I want to always prove to myself, my neighborhood, my family that, there's always room to get better and chase that 1% every day. So I would just say myself, and me wanting to be the best version of myself is keeping me motivated every day.
You're the best, Tyrique. Congrats on the hardware from this week. I mean, you have an award. I would flaunt it if it was me. But we'll see you under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth. It'll be a lot of fun. Good luck.
Thank you.
I really like him. I've never talked to him before. Unbelievable confidence out of him. He knows what time it is. Sunday Night Football going to be a huge one in Houston for this Bears defense that allowed just 104 passing yards in week 1. Number 1 defense. As I've said this a million times, ever since Eberflus gave me that jar of Eberflus honey, and I said, people have slept on this defense. Last year, number 1 defense over the second half of the season. If they can give it to Stroud, keep him from doing anything, they can stifle this high-powered Texans offense, keep them at bay in prime time. This Bears defense is going to be talked about as a contender for the best in the league, and it should be. Loved talking to him. Love that he didn't take the bait on the Packers. Just wants to win this game, and his confidence is unparalleled, as is this team and their confidence. Giving a lot of love to Eberflus. A lot of Chicago love this week ahead of that big matchup against the Texans on Sunday night. All right, I got hunches, honey hunches of oats coming up next. Let's do it. Hamilton, I really liked him a lot.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, big fan.
Yeah, the Panic at the Disco stuff was, of course,
I didn't realize you couldn't hear it. I couldn't think of what song it was, and then I played it, and I was looked like an idiot rocking out. I have my hangover glasses on. Richard was like, I don't think I've ever seen you, and you were like, oh, those are back out of rotation. Did you think that?
Yeah, I was like, are the Friday glasses going to be a thing again? We bringing it back this year?
It's so funny. I told Richard they were Monday glasses, and you called them Friday glasses, and it was, listen, sometimes there were some rough nights. And sometimes you can't, sometimes you just don't have it in you to glue an eyelash on, So what do? You wear glasses. They might as well have had no lenses.
The Nate Burles.
Nate would wear glasses, and they would have glare, so we'd get, scolded for, our glare or whatever, and so he would just take them. Is that what happened? He, took them out?
Yeah.
Does he not need glasses? I don't remember.
I feel like, I think he does now. Yeah.
What are you calling him old? I'm going to send this to him. Nate would be vegan, and then I'd see him eating a steak burrito, and I'd be like, the best. He was the best. He is the best. The best.
Yeah.
Goated. Listen to this text from my dad. Ready? My dad, I think I told you this. My dad obsessed with Tua.
Yeah.
My dad, Tom Brady, Tua's his favorite player. I don't know why. Tua is his favorite. I have to ask him. It's his favorite player. And he said, good topics today. Bad loss for Miami last night with the quarterback injury. My heart hurts. I love the Dolphins, but I do like Bills Allen. What? He loves the Dolphins. My father. Who knew? I don't think he likes Miami. We could never go to Miami when I was little because it was too expensive. We had to take our asses down to Hollywood Beach, further. We never went to Miami. We couldn't hang with those prices.
It must have just been your energy about the team. You drew him in. You got him on board.
Cocoa Beach. I remember we went to all the off-brand Miami, Fort Lauderdale. We drove through and we're like, nope. We'd stay at the Econo Lodge, 7 miles south of Naples. You know what I'm saying? That's what we would do. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds great, and we're just not doing the unboxing. Okay, so we'll do it football officially back. FanDuel about to make Week 2 even more exciting. I got to fix my posture. That's some real scoliosis going on there, Kay Adams. But right now, all customers can double their winnings. Remember those Double Mint commercials? Double the pleasure, double the fun, 100% profit boost. This is wild and awesome, and thank you, FanDuel, for the generosity. It means you can get 2 times the payout on NFL Sunday moneyline bets. I'm targeting the Rams. They're underdogs. What? At plus 102 against the Cardinals this week. I like it. They're banged up. They were last week when they took on the Lions, and they took them into overtime, so I think they bounce back and they get the win. on the road. Okay, it's hunch time, everyone. We got some hunches for you. Hammer. Oh, God. Forgot how this goes. Ah! Okay, hit me. Shoot. Let me look at some of these. Oh, gosh, what do we got? It's time for some hunches. I'm going to tell you, this is good. I haven't looked at it. I'm going to give you my visceral reaction. Go, go, go.
All right, first up, the game of the early window, Bucs-Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown had just 13 yards in week 1. His line is set at 80.5 this week. What's your hunch? Does he bounce back?
I mean, how often is he held under that? Not very often, right? I'm looking right here. He was held under 80 yards in back-to-back games once a year ago while averaging just under 95 a game. This is not going to happen. I know the success of Jameson Williams last week is a little iffy, but it's only going to help him, right? Antoine Winfield not playing, smash the over. Yeah.
All right, next one. Jets-Titans. Aaron Rodgers just 1 touchdown pass in week 1. The Niners are playing a little keep away. What's your hunch? How many touchdown passes do we see from Aaron in Tennessee?
How many touchdown passes from Aaron?
Yeah. And let's bring up the odds, too.
Yeah, I want to see the odds. Okay. So you're getting plus odds for him to throw 2+, right?
Yes.
I will take that. I think we see a big bounce back. I don't know if I'm going to say 3 at plus 490. Shoot. Want to know why I don't see 3? Because Breece Hall. Breece Hall's too good. He's going to punch one in. But I will definitely say 2. That is my hunch. 2+ for Aaron Rodgers.
I'm saying he gets 3. I'm going for the plus 490. I'm taking. Last one. Bears-Texans. Sunday Night Football. So many stars across the board in this game. What's your hunch on who scores the first touchdown in this one?
Oh, thanks for hooking up my options here. All right. Who scores? I could go Diggs. Obviously, he scored 2 last week. He's the captain on the team. You could go, oh my gosh, DJ Moore, Mixon. Dante Whitner is telling us how great Mixon is. You know who I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with Nico Collins. Is this going rogue? I don't know. He was incredible last week. He didn't find the end zone. This is the number 1 who they paid for. He's so big. We saw him in Cleveland at their training. I'm like, I can't believe it. He's 6'9". He's really 6'4". But he's kind of Kevin Durant-y. Yeah. He's very tall. So I'm going to take him off the board. And what was that, plus 950?
Yeah, it looks like it moved last second to plus 900. But yeah, I love that one.
I like that. Nico Collins, Aaron Rodgers, 2 tutties. Ew, I have to stop saying tutties. I hate myself. Goodbye. Have a good weekend. Ugh.